A lot of artists thrive off attention more so than, I'll put it to you like this. There's wedding DJs that make thousands of dollars a gig, but it's not glamorous. It's not being in the club. It's not being around all the record labels, the women, the yada yada yada. So there's people that undercut, will do stuff for free, for way cheaper. So the people that are charging more, they lose their spot. So the gatekeeping has kind of been a positive thing in a certain sense. Where a lot of people back in the day are like, man, this person's only going to do this because XYZ, but they earn that. Because there's all these artists that are willing to do whatever for whatever. And that takes away from the people that are actually talented and that actually put the work in to be where they deserve to be.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, forward always, your guest, the real McCoy, the people's lawyer, along with Shonda Don,
Yes, sir.
the ghost of Orlando.
Yeah, what's happening, y'all? What up, though?
And today, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest, DJ Double O.
What's going on?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have this guest here venturing into our different industries that we talk about, but dealing with the entertainment industry, the music industry, and overseas. That's a big thing.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man. Tell us, I guess, and Ghost, this might be on you, like, how did this kind of come about with everything?
I'll let him go first.
Well, one day I was on Facebook and I was networking with a bunch of people. And this guy from Brazil had hit me up. And initially it was just about a song. He was like, hey man, you want to work on this song? I was like, all right, cool. About a month going into working on the song, he hits me up again. He's like, yo, like the song's cool, but you want to come play this festival down here in Brazil? I'm like, yeah, let me just talk to my people. So I hit up Ghost. We did some negotiations. We figured it out. And sure enough, that was the first international gig that I did. Then about, what was it, about a year after that?
Yeah.
About a year after that, we got in contact with another one of his people named Zeus. And Zeus put us on to another person out in Australia that linked me to Thailand. So I went from being in Brazil for one festival. Then after that, I went to Thailand. And then from Thailand, I went to the Philippines. And then I came back to Thailand. Then I went down to Australia. And that was my first, like, solid international tour.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah, man.
How long had you been DJing, I guess, stateside before you got into that?
Let me think about that. I've been DJing since 2008. That was 2018. I went to Brazil, I think.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah, so about 10 years before I went international.
Oh, man. So that's how did you even get into music and all that? Or like, how did that all start with you?
I had a friend, and right as I got out of high school, he was DJing at clubs. There was a club called Club Vane downtown. It's Celine now. And he was DJing on the rooftops and doing all that stuff. And like, I was really interested and intrigued by it. He brought his decks over one day, and I just learned from him, and the rest was history. You know, I ended up going to Tampa for school and audio and recording and all that. And then I was there for about, I think like 2, almost 3 years when I came back to Orlando. And from that point forward, I just started DJing as much as I could,
Okay.
recording, producing.
I guess what would be the biggest difference, stateside DJing and international? Like, what would you say is the biggest difference that you kind of experienced?
There's, how do I put this? There's less, here it's all about vanity, right? It's
Okay.
all about being on camera. It's who's who, what's what. Over there, they just like to party, man. They just enjoy the music. And I think that comes from a place of, we were talking before, how they don't have as much access. So because, you know, there's limited access, they're appreciative of the music a whole lot more.
Okay. Maybe like and that's interesting. We were talking about that before. Do you think it's more Cause I remember back in the day with the music scene, it was just all about the music. Like I want to hear the latest thing. I want to hear the music, and like you're saying, vanity. Is it more the? I don't know. I guess it's not just about the music. It's about everything else but
It's
the
about
music.
the scene.
Okay.
You know, here people want to be seen. They want to be in the VIP booth. They want to be with the DJ.
Pop bottles.
Pop bottles. Be around the finest girls. You know, et cetera, et cetera. Over there, they just enjoy the moment, which is how it used to be, like you said, back in the day. Like when I first started DJing, there was a lot more of that because social media wasn't such a thing. And I think they're picking up on that now, not as much as when I was there, but it's still a lot more enjoyable, I think, for them than it is for the people here because one, price, you know, prices for everything is completely different over there than it is here. That's another thing. Like, it might not even charge you to get into the club over there. They just want people in the club.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense with that, man. How did you and Ghost link up? Like that's something I know we wanted to like. How did this link up happen here?
Because you know he the ghost. It's hard to find him.
So I had a homegirl who told me that, you know, she had a contact, and one day, I think, was it the ale house that we met up at the first? We met up at the ale house, and, you know, he was like, all right, you know, if you can DJ like you say you can, like, I'm going to give you a shot. So he brought me to the Rough House, and this was a spot where all the Rough Riders used to come and party after we were out, you know, at regular hours. So I came through, did my thing, and the rest was history.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, that's a beautiful thing. I know I've been able to personally observe the relationship and everything to really get that, man. It's like it's that's a beautiful thing. Man, that DJ, I DJ'd a little bit, definitely not on your level when I was in college.
Right.
Like, how do you, when you putting a set together, man, what goes into that for you?
Well, you got to consider when you're going to play what, and there's different types of DJing, right? There's curated DJ sets where like you might get like an hour, 45 minutes where everything is chosen beforehand. I know who's going after me. I know what they play. I know who's going before me. I know what they play. I know what time I'm playing. So I'm aware of how much energy I'm bringing to the set.
Right.
But then there's like open format DJing where you can pick from a plethora of different genres. So you really have to be on your A game and know who's in the room and analyze and people watch. You really got to take a look at how people are reacting to what you're playing. If people are liking it, keep that energy going and eventually build it up. If they don't like it, you better switch and get out of that song or whatever you're playing quick.
Oh, okay. So I mean, like when you, and I guess you would kind of know beforehand, hey, is it going to be like this curated set? Is it going to be this open set?
The way I would explain it is like there's festivals which are dominantly curated sets.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because of the lighting. A lot of times, like EDC, or, you know, if you want to go to what just happened with Rolling Loud, you have so much time, like I said. And then the lights have to match up with what you're playing. I guess it kind of depends upon the genre. Rolling Loud's a little bit different because, you know, the way that people are going to perform each individual song might change. Where EDC and like electronic music, they have set visuals that line up exactly with the timing of the music that's being played.
Wow.
Okay.
Where in the club, you know, you have a VJ who's just following what you're doing and it's not completely set up ahead of time.
Okay, kind of just freestyling with
Yeah.
it, going with the flow.
Depending, because like if you go down to like Club Space, there's a lot of stuff that's crazy down there in Miami. They do a lot more production than they do at, you know, a smaller club like they do here.
Club Space. You listen.
Like, he had a flashback right there.
Boy, I had a big flashback. I listen.
I
Listen,
had to sprinkle it in there for a
man.
reason.
Listen, you go to that club, it don't open till 2:00,
Yeah.
Wow.
It's an
In the
after hours
morning.
club.
Wow.
and then you walking out of there, and people are going to lunch. The next day, you sitting out, you looking like a vampire. You like the sun, man. The stuff that happened in the space. Let's put it like this: we just gonna say we experienced it. We can't talk about it because you might be on federal investigation. You know what I'm saying? So don't talk about it. But like I definitely know what he talking about because let me ask you one question. Speaking about Miami and Orlando, do you see that whole thing that you were talking about, the look and the glamour is way different? Is Orlando still a little behind, or is it catching up? Or
I think when I first started DJing back in when I first started club DJing in 2010, 2011, at Vane, you had to be dressed a certain way. Now it's lacking. And I think that's just due to the way that Orlando has become, because they're trying to get rid of a lot of the clubs. And Miami, obviously, that you have to have certain stuff, wearing certain stuff. You might not even be able to wear hats, XYZ.
Yep.
Where Orlando, it used to have that vibe, and I miss that because it was, a lot of people say, oh, they were gatekeeping, they were doing this, but they're holding standards. And now that there's no standard that's being set, nobody's clubbing anymore. Nobody cares. They're waiting for somebody to show up to perform for it to be a poppin' venue. Because if you go out on a Tuesday, it's not what it used to be.
Man, it's so crazy you say that. You remember, I know Brad, not Brad, excuse me, Double O, excuse me. I don't want to give his government, you know what I'm saying? But I met him when I was a strip club manager. And it's so funny, man. You never can judge a book by its cover. Because I'm looking at Brad, I'm like, the hell he doing up in here? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, he in here trying to buy him some stuff, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Brad jump on the mic, and I'm looking, I'm not, I'm just, okay. Man, he started playing, and I'm like, I had to do the double look. I was like, is he light-skinned? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, Brad was playing nothing but dirty South stuff. And then it wasn't so much the music, it was the blend. And he knew how to judge the hardest crowd are strippers because they make their money off of the music because, they get into it and stuff. Right. And he knew how to judge and just his professionalism. He went to the girls. He was like, "Yo, what you want to hear?" No other DJs would do that. Right. They would just put something on and dance to it. If you don't like it, hey, that's. He would go to the girls and tell them, and he would figure out their styles. And I would notice different girls go on, and he would change up the music and kept it going. And at the end of the night, the girls would have to tip the DJs. Yep. They would really look out the Brad because he would bring that money in. Because listen, if the girls aren't into it, the guys are not going to be into it. Right. You know what I'm saying? And he kept the crowd going. If the girls aren't
happy, they're not having fun. And if they're not having fun, they're not dancing the way that, you're going to make money off of. That's the whole method to that. And I think people are so focused on, I'm the DJ, I'm playing what I want. But they're what's making you money in that environment. Right. It's a strip club. It's not a nightclub.
You listen. I mean, it's funny. You just the breakdown you giving them, man. And Ghost, I asked you this because it was interesting to me to really hear. So he DJs at the Rough House. That's almost sounding like this the cutting ground. You got to prove your stuff there. Like,
listen. Anybody that know Rough Riders, they knew about the bullpen that happened where they put all the MCs and they just was at it. You know what I mean? And it was survival of the fittest. So I was like, if this dude can go make it in the Rough House,
like you going to jail.
I did the same thing you did. And my club brothers and sisters came in. It was like, yo, who is the gingerbread? And I was like, hey man, give him a chance. He say he can. You know what I mean? I didn't know him like that. Right. I just, something in our energy was like, yo, let me go ahead and take a chance on him. And, like when I tell you he had the Rough House, like we were almost a nightclub after that point because
Yeah,
after every session at our other little places we went, we would always go back to the Rough
Right
House.
back
It
to
would
the
be
Rough
packed,
House.
bro. It would be packed. People was having fun. Like we was kind of like space. Us coming out the next morning,
Ooh.
afternoon, like what's going on?
Listen, Brad used to have the club jumping, and it would be so crazy because we had like the weird nights. You remember we had Mondays,
Mondays
you know, because I was like the new manager and stuff, and I was thinking of little things to bring people in. But when Brad would get people, because I've seen people, you've gone, everybody's gone to a strip club, walk in and walk right back out, because it's the energy like Brad was talking about. If the girls are having a good time, they extra. You know how females are. And when they having a good time, that's what kept people. And then after a while, we started having Mondays jumping, and I'm sitting there, I'm looking at Brad, I'm like, and then me and him, we just started talking, and like you say, it was just the energy, and then his energy, the way it just. Good people, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I honestly can say that, you know, and every time that he came, even if he didn't feel good or whatever he did, he always brought that heat. I'm telling you. Right. I'm telling you.
But he's been the anchor, not to cut you off, but he's been the anchor of the label and everything that we've been doing, you know, for
speak on that, man.
Years. You know what I mean? Like we've gotten, you know, distribution deals where, you know, people have been like, yo, how are you, you know, doing joint ventures and getting, because we never had to sign with a major. We never had to take money. We've always been able to do our own independent, you know, thing. And that's where we drew the attention from like the Sonys and Warners and, you know, some other companies.
Universal at the beginning.
Yeah, Universal. And
damn,
they were like, you know, how are you guys traveling and doing all this? And we keep seeing your name keeps coming up for some reason. And it was, you know, Brad was holding it down. Brad was traveling to Brazil and Thailand and Philippines. And so
Australia.
Our thinking was we thought outside the box. That's the one thing I love about him too, is his creativity, is when we had to sit down and be like, listen, we don't have enough resources to go against and compete with everybody. So how are we going to carve our niche out here?
And that's the thing. It's interesting you said that, because, man, I know before we were talking about that independent grind, that a lot of people really don't understand or can really appreciate, just being on that, where you're competitive on a major level. It's just obviously more responsibility on you to really get that. I guess y'all speak on that. Just how is that whole thing, and what you've seen from the major side and what you all had to do doing it the independent way.
Not to cut you off, but you got to commit, man. Like, you got to really want it. And if you don't want it, it'll show. And then you'll just fall to the wayside if you don't keep going at it. People say they want it, but really what they want is money and attention.
Right.
But if you love your art, you're going to have no problem continuing to do it. And as long as you continue to do it at a high level, or at a level enough to where you're generating attention, most venue owners just want to know if you could sell tickets, right?
Right.
But if you're good at what you do, people are going to be paying attention to what you got going on, even if they don't really know you. Like, remember in Australia how the owner didn't really want to mess with us, but then what was the language that they spoke?
Arabic. He spoke.
They were speaking Arabic back and forth, one of his business partners. And because they had that connection with the language, they put me on and they enabled me to do my show. And I did great.
And this is like one of the top clubs in the whole world. You know what I mean? And the guy was the owner, the person that had connected Brad. Like, he didn't really know like the full extent of who he was. So he just knew Double O was coming to perform. And then he was like, well, okay, cool. What does that mean though? You know what I mean? So,
Who are you? What do you do?
Right. So, you know, there was a little bit of hesitation or whatever, but
He showed up and showed out.
yeah, bro. Like I said, that's why I tell everybody, we don't have to talk. I just let him go do what he does, and then, like he said, we've never chased money. You know what I mean? And that's why we've always just been like, let our talent and our work speak. And when we do good business, we've always, been successful. And that's been a kind of part of how we all came together as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
You hit on that point of good business, man. And I really think it gets lost in your industry, you know what I'm saying? Because it's so many back doors and you sitting up here and 360 deals, you mess around, sign right here. The next thing you know, your kid's gonna be working for this dude. And you like, what experiences have you had with people trying to, put that front up like, oh, we gonna give you the world, and then when you start going through that paperwork, you like, what the?
Listen. Some of the first deals that we got were, because we didn't, we were learning as we were going as well. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that was one of the things that, my mentors that helped, convincing us to start our own thing was learn the business. Because if you don't know the business, the rest of it falls by the wayside anyway. So you guys know there's a million talented people out here.
Yeah.
We'll never hear them. And, that's why you get your one-hit wonders and all this other stuff is because of the business.
Yep.
People don't pay attention to the business. And so, once we had a few bad experiences and, you know what I mean, I was like hell-bent on learning the business first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I could always protect the artists. And anybody that's come, and has dealt with us or whatever, I don't hold people. You know what I mean? I let people go do whatever they feel like they want to do because I know the business and I know what you're about to experience because you don't know the business.
Right.
And somebody had told us, if I give you $1 million car and it's in pieces, you still have $1 million worth of a car.
Right.
But if you don't know how to put it together, it's no good anyway.
Right.
So that's why I never start giving people money because I had artists before and we would give them money and it'd be gone before the weekend was up. Mm-hmm. They didn't put it towards nothing that they were
They
supposed
know
to.
how to invest it or kind of build from
and
it.
then now you owe the company.
Yep.
See, that's what people don't understand. What those advances, all that money, those are loans.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And these artists out here,
And you got to pay interest on it too.
Oh yeah, it's worse than the bank.
Yeah.
You're better off getting a loan from the bank a lot of times than taking some of these deals because of the
or private
interest
investors too.
Right.
I could imagine because it's really the rules is just a contract. That's it. It's no rule like you say you're dealing with a bank. It's kind of industry standards or whatever. But an industry standard like in y'all industry could be whatever. They could say, hey man, the market is saying this. Like you gonna have to pay us.
It's what I say.
Right. Excellent.
If I give you the money, now I pretty much own what you're doing and how you're going to move and proceed going forward.
Especially if you don't have creative control.
Hey man, that's why you guys see a lot of the dresses and a lot of that other stuff out there. And y'all wondering like, man, these some killers out here. You know what I mean? What's going on? You know what I mean?
On that contract, do what you were told.
Right. You know what I mean? You
That's
pretty much owned at that point. So that's why we just was like, we wanted to keep our independence and we sacrificed money for that because we've had deals. We've talked to the Def Jams and
My first EP was with Universal, right? And they signed it in 2016. 3 songs. What year you think it got released? Just take a guess.
2019.
Just about 2018, 2 years later.
See, that's
So
crazy.
they held your stuff for,
For
2
2
years?
years. They shelved it for 2 years.
Who you pissed off?
That's just the way it goes. Because if they don't see
Lord,
a
have
priority
mercy.
for it, it's not going to go anywhere. And I made something that was relevant to that time period.
Right.
So now that that time period is passed and they don't have anything to put out, they're like, all right, we'll just release this now.
That's crazy, man.
And it's not even out there anymore. They took it off all platforms.
And they own it. So that's
So I
crazy,
can't even
man.
re-release it if I wanted to.
That's crazy, man.
That's why we were saying that you have to have your business affairs in order
Yeah.
when if you're gonna get in this industry, because if you don't, you're gonna see a lot of that happening and not understand why. And that you guys are seeing the lawsuits with
You
the
better get you a
Drake.
lawyer.
You know what I mean? That's where you guys come into play as well. A lot of people don't
Law.
understand the industry. You have to have a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a lawyer if you are going to be doing contracts, anything that deals with you have to have a lawyer. That is so important. And then I tell my artists too, they end up dealing with Ashon at some point. You know what I mean? Because they get out here and then they're doing stuff, and now they got this sense of entitlement because the people know them and they out and they have this little fame and whatever, and they think now I'm kind of untouchable. But then
Yeah, you
now
start
they end
drinking
up
the
with you.
Kool-Aid.
Right? Then they end up with you. Now they got to go back to you.
Yeah. Hey man, it keeps us in business.
Yeah.
I mean but just the thing y'all talking about, then it really go back to that when you said that creative control. Like, how would a person go about making sure they can maintain creative control? Because it is art. It's art at the end of the day.
You gotta have all your ducks in a row. And what I mean is, like, your art better be great. You better have somewhat of a following. Your social media better have something going on with it. Even if you're not doing crazy numbers, you gotta have something that's different. Because if you're not providing something that's gonna enable them to want to give that to you, then they'll give it to somebody else.
Okay.
Like,
And then with the business too side of that, what he's talking about is if you are signing anything, you better know what you're signing. You know what I mean? And whoever you're with, like with me, I give him enough control that he can do whatever he wants pretty much. You know what I mean? And not have to be answering to me, and I'm not in his pockets every time he does something. You know what I mean? And a lot of people, when they sign on with people, that happens. You know what I mean? That's why you saw in the Tupac movie when they were talking about making different moves and leaving it. Now here comes a bill, and see these artists think hey, I thought that was on the label. Listen, no sir. You know what I mean? That's what they didn't understand, and that's where there's a lot of conflict with a lot of artists. They think the label and all that is supposed to pay for everything, and they just reap all the rewards.
That's what I thought.
No, sir.
Nah,
that
man.
does not work like that.
Man, it's like smoke and mirrors, man. They sit up there and they make you think that, because I've seen guys get signed and, athletes and, people come, they're going to give you the world. But it's that little fine print that you keep talking about, man, that we really need people to read, man, because it's like you sitting up here and you putting trust in a person that has the best interest of the label, not you.
No, it's never going to be that way.
it's never the artist.
It's never.
Wow.
Never.
Because they're a business.
Right.
They're not interested in the art. They're interested in how much money they're going to make off you as the asset.
You're just a product.
Yeah.
God.
That's
That's
it.
that's
That's it.
that's scary, man.
It is.
Because I've seen so many people that, their dream is to get there, and then when they get there, they just walk away like I don't want this no more, because I really feel like it scares them, because you're giving up that control, like you said. Like, you've built this fortress, you built it yourself, and then your whole goal is to get signed, and then once you sign, they'll be like, all right, I know you built this, but it ain't built right, let me change it. And then you see them change it, and then the artist nosedives.
Yep.
Loses his following. Seem like they lose the passion to even do
What they would do.
doing what they're doing.
It's easily to explain that. Imagine in sports, you were the quarterback,
Right.
all coming up, and then you get with a team, and then they tell you you're gonna be a lineman.
Wow.
Yeah, you get totally changed from what you were doing.
There you go. So now, people, especially with DJs and things like that, you guys got to remember, back in the day, they didn't used to get paid. Remember, they they were producing beats and making all these
Yeah.
wonderful songs for all these artists, and they were having a fight for, their money that was belonged to them because, the business got in the way once again.
Right.
Artists was like, yo, I ain't what you want me to pay you, you gotta check with the label, you know what I mean?
Because
And
they
all
didn't know
that.
about their split sheets.
Right. People didn't understand what split sheets were, you know what I mean? So
It's so crazy you say that. I saw that with Spinderella. Used to be with Salt and Pepper.
Right.
The way I remember it, she was always there. You know what I'm saying? But once that, like you said, that business came out, they said she was just spinning records. That's crazy.
That's why I said, man, if you guys go, and that's why I tell all my artists as well, go research whoever it is. You got the EPMDs, they went through that. You know what I mean? Eric and Parrish, they went through the whole having to deal with business. You know what I mean? Then you have any group that you can think about. You know what I mean? They speak on it. You know what I mean? Fushnikins, they went through that. They just did an interview where they talked about the business. You know what I mean? Everybody's favorite group, Wu-Tang. Y'all know that. They got a special. You can go watch it. It's the business. You know what I mean? And everybody's situation is different, but it's still business. At the end of the day, you got to understand.
And it's not a broke man's game, bro. Like, look at Young Dolph. He put $1 million up for a single. One song.
One.
$1 million?
He put $1 million up for one song.
You guys got to listen.
But
the Breakfast Club does wonderful interviews. Shout out to them. They get a lot of people on there. There's a lot of guys that I love watching as far as like podcasts because now you're starting to understand those stories
the back
and
end.
and all those people we used to listen to, and we used to be like, man, what happened? To so and so and whatever, and you got all these stories. Remember the TLC story? Everybody was like, how they got all these Grammys and they ain't got no money.
The business, like what you just
Man,
said.
they were riding around in the RAV4s.
Yeah.
How
Business,
you not making millions, making 9 figures for, man, because you remember when they did Waterfalls, that whole thing? Dude, how many Grammys did they win? Like, it was over 4 or 5.
At least. So,
and you sitting up there, they're in the middle of the interview talking about they broke.
Right.
How is that possible?
Business, man. And there's so many different aspects to that.
There is.
You can't know everything. So once again, like we said, it's important to have people that you can trust. That's the other thing. Because sometimes label, like myself, will go put you to a lawyer that I know is going to have my interest. And if
That's crazy.
Because you got to think, there's the label, then there's management, which there's tour management, and then there's regular management. And then on top of that, there's lawyer fees. There's all these different stipulations behind where the money's got to go through first before it sees your hands. And if you don't trust all those different people, somebody's screwing you somewhere.
you don't have a financial advisor, what you doing?
Listen,
Time.
speaking about that, man, I heard you really talk about with your artists to get them a financial advisor. Because, listen, if you spending and you ain't bringing no money in, you gonna end up in a hole. And a lot of guys forget, once, let's say, they get that one hit, they think every hit after that is going to be a hit.
No, absolutely not. People don't understand, and that was another thing we learned along our journey, was just because we have great music doesn't mean anything either.
No.
We had to learn the business part about that. How do you get music put out? You know what I mean?
Wow.
And I had to get, like, I've had artists get upset and come after me and yell and scream, and I'm like, did you spend any money on marketing?
Yeah.
Once again, it goes back
You
to
got marketing, publishing, distribution.
those three right there. You know that a lot of people don't even understand that
No.
part. So then they're trying to figure out, well, who's getting the money? And I tell them, did you go learn what you're supposed to learn? Did you have a lawyer? Did you have the?
Did
When
you
I
sign
dealt
up
with
to
him,
ASCAP or
before I
BMI?
put him on a contract, I talked to him and his people, and I said, listen, go get your own lawyer that you're comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want it to ever come back to for you to feel like, you know what I mean, I was trying to take advantage of you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Do your own self independent research and get your own lawyer. Bro.
Go saying, a lot of people like that, man.
Hey, listen, man, that's not. And the industry is going to eat you up. I'm telling you this now. I kind of told y'all about that story, but, hey, man, there's some things that go on that, you know what I mean, that people talk about in other interviews that you can just go listen to about what goes on in this industry. And it's just facts, man. And that's why I just didn't want that. And I didn't want that for them. So our thing is we'd just rather do joint ventures and partner and, you know, we'll do our thing and just be comfortable.
With,
like
not
said.
for.
Right.
Always.
Yeah,
Just
see, I mean,
forward,
and I'm always wanting, and I always wanted this with, especially with music. Do you think it's because it's creative, right? You creating something from nothing, like your life experiences is gonna shape what your music, what you heard,
Right.
what you seeing. You create this out of nothing. You know, it's just a BPM, a click on a sequence or something like that, and then all of a sudden now you got this product, and it's so creative. Does that make it easier for a lot of artists to get exploited because they're just creating this thing, and they're all using artists is going to be about the art in some way first, whatever. I'm about the art, but then, like you said, not knowing your business is that what kind of comes into play why a lot of people get exploited because they're just so focused on the art and nothing else?
Absolutely.
I'll give you a good example, and I'm not going to bring up no company's names, but we always had a thing where I had to tell them, we don't do anything for free. And then they had to come and learn what I meant from that. Brad Double O was really the quickest to pick up on that because a lot of people just mean when you do a project that you're supposed to receive money and this, that, and the other. No, it's way bigger than that. There are platforms out there for people to just go put their music on. And they haven't copywritten a thing.
Yeah.
So who now owns that music?
Yeah, whoever
The platform you put it
I'm
on.
just gonna leave
The
it out
distributor.
there.
Yeah.
Because we, you know, that's things that we had to learn coming up and pay for.
Wow.
And you know what I mean? That's why I said there's a lot to this. And if you don't cover all these little, you know, things that you should know, you don't even understand who owns your own music.
Music, yeah.
You putting your stuff out there because you want people to hear it, and you don't even know who owns it and who's making money off of your music.
That's scary, dog.
Yeah, that's crazy. You think of it now that you're just saying that it makes sense why. Because nowadays you see it's so different from it used to be really hard to get anything out there. Say like, let's just say, hey man, 20 years ago it was a lot more difficult than today. Today a person can make something 1 minute, next minute, hey, it's being broadcast everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
But
The
who
difference
owns it?
is accessibility.
Okay.
Back then, there wasn't access. Now they're giving you the access because there's so much music. They know that you could put it out there. You're probably not going to make much on it, but they have the rights and the money to it if you do. Like, what's even crazier is, say you sample something, you don't clear the sample. A lot of times, they'll let it slide. They'll let it go through. And what happens is they wait.
Till it get hot.
Say you get 1 million plays, 10 million plays, now you're making money. Now they're going to sue you because they know you have money now.
See. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, see that
It's
I'll
crazy.
give y'all even more simple thing. How many people are just putting out music daily?
It's
Just
unlimited.
millions of songs, right?
Yeah, millions of songs.
Imagine you're a distribution company. And say, like Brad said, nobody does any marketing, nobody puts any money towards anything. They just put it on your platform. To access this music, people are still having to pay money. So each song that keeps going out, even if it generated $1 a piece, imagine the amount of revenue that's coming back into that company.
Dollar.
Yeah.
And then it depends on your split.
There's no split because you gave it to them.
You gave it to him. Yeah, that's what he's saying. You just put it on there. He gave it
And
away
you're
for free.
paying for the subscription to access the service.
Man, that's why I'm glad I was in police work, man. 'Cause, shoot, I'd rather deal with somebody shooting bullets at me, man. At least I know it coming. You know what I'm saying? You
Yes.
sitting up here, and it's like you you worrying about the front, but that back door is wide open.
Listen, all kind of doors that you didn't even know about.
And they busting you to
Scary
the
doors.
man. I'm sitting here, and you looking at people, and I really feel for the artist because that your whole dream is to get to that point. Then when you get to that point, it's like, okay, you know we got you, right? We own you. You sitting up here, but I did this and I did that. But if your paperwork, like you say, is ain't right, you don't know what you got.
Yeah.
Yep.
You might have a bag of beans and you sitting up there like Jack in the Beanstalk.
They
You
don't
go, hold
call
up,
us
you just
starving
sold a
artists
cow
for
for
no
some
reason.
beans?
Yep.
Man, that's crazy, man. Listen, I'm gonna stick with the people I know. Okay, yeah, he a crackhead, but I know what I'm dealing with. I know what I'm dealing with. I know he's smoking Monday through Thursday, but on Friday he rests. Okay, we cool with that. But you're sitting up there and you're putting your trust in these people that, you know, in your face and all that stuff. But the whole time, man, they got a knife and they sticking it in your back slow, man. That's
See, I this is where I kind of have that difference because I'm on the other side of it. I feel like it's not my responsibility to spoon feed you what you're supposed to know.
You're grown up.
Right. You're grown up. And this is what I attest to. If I'm going to be a lawyer or a police officer, I have to go to school and learn what it takes to do that, right?
You're totally
This
right.
is one of the only industries there's no class work for you to go learn what it takes to be what you're trying to be. That's part of a problem that's out there. And then people say people are taking advantage of them, but really, is it people taking advantage of them, or is it your lack of knowledge and your lack of understanding how this works?
They used to have artist development.
Right.
That's been gone for a long time.
Long time.
Yeah, it's funny. Like you both on them 2 points. It's interesting. So the money obviously is not the same that it used to be in the industry. So
No.
you are missing the artist development, right? Take an artist and develop them 4 or 5 years to get them to the point of where they're supposed to be at, and hopefully they do learn some of the business stuff you're talking about. And you make a point by saying you don't. I guess that's what makes the difference of where people would go to with labels, like who can they trust, right? That's going to actually. I know you don't know this, so I'm going to tell you, like you said, here in this instance, you say, hey, go get your own lawyer. Like, look over this before you come and deal with me. And as Sean said, a lot of people wouldn't say that. Like, they would just be like, don't worry about it. You good. Just sign this contract right here. Instead of saying, no, take the time to double check me. I'm good. I'm cool. We're going to build a level of trust here, but I still want you to double check me before you just jump in. I mean, do you think that's the lack of, I don't know if the word is regulation or something that kind of, it's a requirement in some way? Do you think that's something that should be in the industry that's not there? Or?
No. No. Because like I said, once again, it falls on you to understand what you're getting yourself into. So because like with me, I have to understand what his objective was. You know, what do you want to do? So I know how to now construct our business. You know what I mean? He doesn't want to put dresses on, so we're not gonna go that route. You know what I mean? He does not want to go into places where he don't feel comfortable.
Right.
So he's not going to DJ in some places that he's not comfortable. You know what I mean? And if people don't accept his business terms, he's not going to DJ. We don't DJ for free. You know what I mean? And that was a thing which I had to get them to understand is this is your business and you have to put your price of what and your value on your work. I can't do that. You know what I mean? And other people should not be telling you what they should be paying him. You know what I mean? So like we said, you know, you have to put whatever if I come to you and you tell me it's $800 an hour, I have to pay him $800 an hour.
Yeah.
But do you think a lot of artists, are they afraid of losing that attention?
Absolutely.
The reason they turn?
Yep.
can speak on that.
Yes, 100%. A lot of artists thrive off attention more so than, I'll put it to you like this. There's wedding DJs that make thousands of dollars a gig, but it's not glamorous. It's not being in the club. It's not being around all the record labels, the women, the yada, yada, yada. So there's people that undercut, will do stuff for free, for way cheaper. So the people that are charging more, they lose their spot. So the gatekeeping has kind of been a positive thing in a certain sense, where a lot of people back in the day are like, man, this person's only going to do this because XYZ, but they earn that. Because there's all these artists that are willing to do whatever for whatever. And that takes away from the people that are actually talented and that actually put the work in to be where they deserve to be.
That I remember, and Yohance in Miami. You remember when they used to have Cafe Iguanas?
Oh yeah.
Listen, Cafe Iguanas used to be so big. I'm talking about it would the line be wrapped around the corner, and they used to have what Double O's talking about standards. Hey, if you ain't dressed a certain way and such
Getting
in a way that was so good because you didn't have those certain type of, and I'm not saying no, it's not a color thing. It's a certain type of people. If they say you got to wear buttoned up and Timberlands, every dude in the hood ain't got no button up and Timberlands. So and I hate to say it like that. They not coming there because they know what type of crowd they're looking for. But you never saw no fights. Everybody was carried themselves on a certain accord. The music was good and stuff because, you know, it was a certain standard of, you know, if this DJ was being there, you know what type of crowd he's going to bring and stuff. And that's the type of crowd you wanted. Some DJs, and I hate to say it like this, and I'm not criticizing nobody, is they bring a certain type of crowd. And being a promoter or even a police officer, because we used to have to work, you know, off duty and stuff. If I heard a certain DJ was gonna be there, I ain't trying to get shot.
Right.
Because and
you understood the energy that brought.
Bro,
you know what I mean? And that goes to the music.
Yeah,
that
like
we put out.
like think about the crunk era, right? How many people wanted to fight just because crunk music was coming on? People aren't dancing. People aren't grinding on girls to crunk music. They're fighting.
Right.
So if you know that he's playing this type of thing, then it's going to create a certain energy and create certain problems.
I ain't gonna lie, because some of them DJs, man, I had good nights. You know what I'm saying? They were playing the music at the right time.
They were fun.
Listen, these dudes ain't gonna
business
never
perspective.
experience the, you know, you in the club, you walk up on a girl and the music playing right and she look over her shoulder and she give you that sign of approval, like that smile.
Like, okay.
Or she'll give you you know, you be like, dang, you know what I'm saying? But I can honestly say the DJ brought that because the mood, like, let's say if they were playing, you know, crunk music or whatever, it was earlier. Later on in the night, you know, when time is winding down, they're starting to play slower music, you know, love music, put people in. Because if I'm playing, you know, I'm a busted nigga, Ed, you be like, hold on, bro, I ain't trying to hit this right now. And then I'm telling you, as soon as that club fall out, it's gonna fight. Because music is so influential to people. It can get you in the right mind. You ever work out and stuff, you hear some music, you going. Yeah. But if you hear a certain type of music, you know, you sitting with your lady, you know, you listen to some R&B, it puts you in that mind state or whatever. And speak on that, Brad. How
Routinely, especially when we was at the strip club. As soon as it hit 1:30, I'm going to R&B.
Please.
I'm dialing it down. Because if not, like you said, shootings, fights, all the bullshit that you don't want to deal with. And I made sure every single time, even if people wanted to bump the energy up, I didn't do it. Because as a DJ, you have to control the crowd. Because if you don't, that's on you.
Dude, how many times, like, when we were in the club, and Brad would put me up on game. He'd be like, hey, man, they over there arguing. And I'll shoot right over there. Hey, let me buy y'all a drink. Because I need to put this fire out. Because I don't know what nobody got in the car.
Right.
And I don't know, you know, how bad a day he done had, or, you know, you don't know where some people might want to crash out and stuff. And I can honestly say the DJ controls that. And, you know, those moods in there, listen, you sitting up there and it can go from 0 to 100 real quick.
Yeah, it could be quick with that.
Man, I done seen listen, some girls were fighting one time. Listen, check this out. I walk with a limp, man. Man, them strippers strong as hell. Listen, man. Hey, man, I grabbed one of them, man. This shit, my heels in the air, man. I was like, man, I'm 6'6". I'm like, hold on, I'm holding on to her. I'm sitting up there like I'm riding a horse. I'm like, oh Lord. And then I tried to seem like I was bad. I was like, don't do that no more, man. I was so happy when Brad cut that music, man. Listen, they were wearing my behind out. Man, and just like we keep talking about, it can go from, you know, it could just be la 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 la, and boom,
quick.
Next, you know, it's an all out brawl, and I can honestly say, the DJ controls that in the club, and people don't realize. And I'm telling any kind of club promoter or whatever, if you have a certain type of crowd, and your DJ is not aware of what's going on, you need to find you another DJ.
Yeah.
Because they're putting your life in danger.
Risk.
Because a lot of times, I'm telling you, man, I'm walking around here, I ain't got no bullet repellent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I didn't mess around and got the wrong person pissed off, and I was humble enough. I went back to him, man, my bad. Because somebody was like, man, you know who you talking to? I was like, man, he over there talking crazy. Like, man, he just shot up a club. I went over there, hey, brother, how you doing? Let me buy you a drink. You know what I'm saying? Listen, shoot.
I don't know if you ever saw the contracts, but it says the DJ is secondary security.
What?
Yeah.
That's what we mean by people don't pay attention to
On the
paperwork.
applications, it says you, the DJ, are secondary security.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So that's deep. Yeah, what you just threw in there goes like, don't know. Paying
gotta pay attention.
You have to pay attention.
Gotta read
to
the fine
everything,
details, man.
Everything, man. That's the one thing we learned. That's why I don't know how to express this to people. Lawyers are just so important. First of all, they keep you out of getting into a problem with how your business is going to get conducted. Mm-hmm. But then they keep you from getting sued. When you get sued, or you have any kind of, like, if there's an incident and he's DJing at a club, like Eddie Murphy said, who they gonna sue?
Yeah,
everybody's gonna go to him, and then now they come in the late. Well, who does he work for? You see what I'm saying? So if you don't have your things in order and your affairs in order, you have a long line of mess that for, like y'all, what we say, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 5 seconds, that's caused chaos.
Yep.
Now your whole label is disintegrated.
Wow.
It's definitely that. I mean, you gotta, like you're saying, paying attention to that paperwork, knowing little things, like you were just saying that he's back up security, like that might have been a situation, let's just say hypothetically, like I ain't got nothing to do with that. I just cut the music off, boom. Maybe security got knocked down. They would have been like, well, this happened here, and you secondary security, you didn't do anything, right? I mean, kind of crazy stuff like that can happen.
That's exactly.
And then
why
with you, how do the lawyer things work? Because me as a layperson, sometimes I think that may be a problem. When you tell them just go get a lawyer, they don't understand the different types of lawyers. So maybe you can speak on.
You gotta get by recommendation will always be get a lawyer that specializes in your field, right? What experience do they actually have in dealing with your industry?
Right.
I mean, a lawyer can be a great lawyer. Let's say they're great, but they never did any music contracts before. Let's just say that they were a great criminal defense attorney, right? They just did a bunch of criminal defense, but they never did anything in the music industry. Mm-hmm. Okay, now they have to play catch up to a degree to really even know, okay, what's the industry standard for these types of contracts?
Right.
What language should I be looking for? These clauses, does this make sense? This looks good to me. They're making some money, but it could be a situation like you're saying with splits and things of that nature. They just don't know because they haven't had experience. So when it comes that time, right, to go look for a lawyer, hey, is this your specialty? Is this an area you worked in before? Who have you worked with before? Like, just questions you would ask anyway. People are kind of, and I think we kind of talked about this sometimes, saying, like you were saying, some people so ready to just, I'm an artist, I'll just, okay, get a look, just, well, you got to do some digging too. Like, you got to do that.
Better get that entertainment lawyer.
Yeah, get that entertainment lawyer. It's mandatory. I would tell anybody that. It's not just get a lawyer. That's like, go buy a car.
Right.
You just, okay,
Right.
what kind of car?
Right.
Right. You like you need to ask that additional question and just make sure who you talking to that they have the experience and the knowledge to really be able to help you out, because that can be a deeper ditch you digging for yourself if not.
Yep.
you
And
know?
I also tell them you have to have a variety, because when you do reach levels, they need to come to you because you need security. Like, they don't even understand how important that is. And I need you to speak on that, because I tell them, I'm like, yo, you think a lot of people, and we've had discussions in you know, groups that I belong to and all the rest of that. A lot of people think it's sweet out here
Yeah.
until it's not. And then when you need somebody, and then you don't have people, the people you around, they don't have proper licenses. They have firearms and all kind of other stuff that they not supposed to have, and you get in a situation, and like we always say, 3 to 5 seconds, and everything is it's over.
A lot of, I really feel like a lot of artists, artists, athletes, anybody in the fame or whatever, it's not them that's the problem. It's the people around you. And a lot of them don't understand whatever, even though we hanging around, Brad go do something, they not gonna say Brad, they gonna say those group of guys. You know, and a lot of people don't realize your people represent you. Like, you know, I know everyone's heard about what happened to Kodak Black and stuff. I met the dude, smart young man, but the crowd he's around, and a lot of times it's the people around you. If they look, if I love you as much as I say I do, I'm going to protect the money maker.
Right.
I'm not gonna put the money maker out front. I'm supposed to take a bullet for him. And a lot of people around you, they don't do that.
No.
And you really have to, you know, like you say, invest in, listen, you the money maker, not them. Even though we cool, we didn't came up since Sandlots and all that stuff, but if you ain't got my best interest in hand, I don't need you around me. Because the only thing you getting paid to do is just to hang. I don't need nobody hanging. I need somebody to bring something to the table. Every one of us sitting right here brings something to the table, and that's why I'm so glad that we hang around and we do business together, because they always say metal sharpens metal. If you the smartest one in your group, you need to find you another group.
Yeah, I mean,
Every day I learn something new from y'all.
but that thing you talking about too, just with that, is that's loyalty, right? Loyalty, but then loyalty comes with trust. Because what you're saying, if you wanted them to take a bullet for you, then are you gonna take care of them when they catch that bullet?
Right.
You right.
That's the other side
Right?
of it.
Because
Right.
people are asked for loyalty. Are you gonna reciprocate that with, okay, man, I got somebody got to take that for me to keep making the bread, but then make sure that's your people's.
And that's why I love when we got to hear Biggie's story, where his people took those charges for him and told him, hey man, we believe in what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And he made sure he took care of his people when they were able to come out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a lot of times you find that doesn't happen.
Oh,
you
it
know?
don't happen a lot
There's a
at
lot
all.
of guys that
Dude,
go and
I
that's
I just found out, speaking on that, you remember the show Home Improvement?
right. Yeah.
The main guy who he's from Michigan.
Yeah. Big Michigan fan. Yeah, he is.
He got caught with some bunch of things, and he had to tell on some people. But every person he sent to what, you know, got caught up and stuff, he took care of them. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing you talk about. Dude, listen, sitting in that police station, man, ain't nobody not telling. If the only people need to be in the police station is the police. If I'm not going over there to sightsee. What you over there doing? You sitting over there, you telling somebody something.
Somebody, you know, some type of.
Listen, and you sitting up there, and it's no loyalty, and people really have to realize that. Listen, if I love you like I say I love you, I'm not gonna put you in that predicament. How many times, Ghost, we didn't, you know, something might have went, you be like, man, chill out, man. Don't let that slide, dog.
Yeah,
We got something bigger and better, man. Ain't nothing.
Well,
that's somebody.
That's the thing. Not to cut you off. That's the thing too. Is you being any kind of leadership role, you have to be responsible for people. And my thing was I have to be responsible for his well-being. And I'll give you all a quick story.
Here we go.
He had a trip to go over to Thailand, and he ended up getting. They came and was like, you look like, you know, you was a little smoker. Come here. You was a drug dealer. What you doing over here in Thailand?
They reading the book by the cover, huh?
They sure did.
They like, come here, hippie boy.
They want to know.
You over there looking like Cheeky Jones.
Listen, so they didn't hear him double O up. He is frantically like calling, imagine the time difference and all the rest of that. I'm like getting a call, like, what's going on? And man, they got me. And I said, give me a second, man. Hold on. So I called my friend Zeus over there, and I'm like, listen, Brad is in some place. You need to go get him.
He was in customs.
And he was like, what? I got him. And I'll let Brad tell you what happened after that.
Man, I made a phone call to him. Less than what? 20, 30 minutes I was out of there. I couldn't believe it. I was dumbfounded. I'm like, how? What? Who? Like, what did you do? I couldn't believe it. I thought I was going to international prison. I thought I was done for. Man, it was nice knowing y'all.
It was good while it lasted.
So that's why we said, like, it's my responsibility to make sure wherever he's going, he's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But with that responsibility is, it's always good to know people.
Oh.
I scared him to the point where he was kind of like, hey, man, I don't really know who you are.
I'm not messing with you.
I'm not messing with you, man. I'm not. He was like, yo, you calling people in whole other countries and making things happen.
But that you do good business.
And I know a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hey.
So that helps as well.
Hey,
you know what I mean?
I'm glad I know you.
Shout out to Zeus.
Yeah, shout out to my boy Zeus in Thailand. If y'all ever need to go over there, let me know. I'll put you in point with some good people they'll make sure you go over there and come back home. Yeah. You have a good time. You know what I mean? So that was the thing, man. Like I said, man, you have to be able to take care of your people, and there's so much that I'm gonna do, but then there's so much that I'm not gonna spoon feed. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna do that because I feel like if that's
Let me
something.
speak on that real quick.
Of course.
So I had a situation while I was in Thailand. I got sick, right? And I was contemplating, like, man, I don't know if I could do the rest of the tour. Like, I think I want to go home. So I called him. He's like, that's fine, but you're gonna owe me all the dollars we spent on it. I shaped up real quick. I'm like, all right, I'm good. I'll do the tour. I'm all right.
You got the antidote, huh? You got the truth serum.
It's like, okay.
But that's part of what we talked about, though. You know what I mean? Because there's been instances I've paid for artists to get on planes for tours, and they never showed up.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
But I mean, but you know, and when you're doing it at the level, you're doing it. That's a professional level, right? This is no longer like y'all talking about. This is about the business, right? And kind of that sports analogy. Are you hurt or are you injured?
Right.
Injured, you can't do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, let's put you on the list. You injured.
I was just hurt.
You hurt.
That was it.
Yeah, you hurt, right? We were professional. You hurt. Like you can still do it. I'm not expecting you to give me, but you can still get it done. You can still get the job done, and that's a lot of times that get lost on people too. Just when you decide to be a professional, and
So
hey,
imagine you as the label out there, and you done invested your money into these people, and they don't show up for shows,
oh yeah,
or they go and represent your company, and then you look bad. So now that's why you saw the pullback from a lot of the majors, where they were like, no, we're not gonna keep, because like I said, if you're an artist, you don't understand the business, so you don't understand and you don't care about the money
Right.
because it's not your money. You see what I mean? If you had to pay to get you into those shows, and you would make sure you showed up and did what you were supposed to. You know what I mean? There's 30 city tours. You know what I mean? Where, hey man, just because you didn't feel right doesn't mean you could just be like, ah man, I'm not going.
Yeah.
It's just
Contract is a contract.
contract is a contract. And these companies are spending millions and millions of dollars into these people, and I don't feel like going.
yeah.
Or you get in trouble. Now I have to get lawyers to get you out of jail. Whoever sues you, I got to take care of that. I still got to pay your producers to produce your music. So there, like I said, there's a whole lot of dynamics that go into this that people don't understand, and then they get mad at the labels and the label owners and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, no, you know what I mean. You have to put the emphasis and ownership back on yourself. You know what I'm saying? So, but that was another thing why I had no problem investing in him, because of all the talent he brought as well. He's not just a DJ. You know what I mean? He's produced a lot of different songs for a lot of artists. You know what I mean? And he
did our theme music. What you talking about, man? Thank you, Double O.
You know what I mean? He represents us well. You know what I
Right.
mean? And that's why I said it's been able for us to be, known out in the industry now, where people pay attention to what he's doing and, what we're doing and all that good stuff. And I just, like I said, I can't thank him enough, man. Because without him, I would just been, doing whatever I was doing.
The crazy part is, I wouldn't have met you if it wasn't for him.
Yeah.
And that's why I keep always saying, man, Brad, he just a good person, because, in this industry, it's a lot of gatekeepers. I know somebody, but they never introduce you to that person.
Right.
They always that it's like you got to pay a toll to get info. And when I first met him, and he was just, hey, I know this guy, man. You need to talk to my man Ghost, and he's my da-da-da. And then just like the first time I met you, and same thing with it, just that feeling. And he didn't have to do that. He generally wanted to help. And a lot of people, especially in the industry or anything or whatever, they ain't trying to give up no info. Oh no. What
Good throwing alley oops.
Yeah, you threw me a good one, boy. No look past like a mug. I was like, you know this person? He was like, yeah, bro. I'm like, huh? And then we sitting up here, and everything just started to, like a snowball, just building, getting bigger and bigger. And I always keep saying, man, this wouldn't have happened if I didn't meet you. You know what I'm saying? And the crazy part, we made a dang strip club around some crazy strippers and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But man, it was a blessing, man. And
so, Brad, what do you got coming up? Where can people reach out and see what you're doing?
Dominantly right now, I'm working on music. So you can catch all that on Spotify, YouTube, all those places,
How do they find you, and where do they go to?
At DJ Double O with 2 O's.
Okay.
You can find me on Instagram, DJ_double_OO. That's probably my biggest, most relevant platform right now that I'm pushing most of my content on.
your new mixtape, man. You ain't talk about it, man.
Yeah. I just dropped a beat tape on the 13th.
Okay, yeah. It was tight work, man.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I dabble in a couple of different worlds. I do hip hop and I do electronic music. So I've really been influenced by like Jay Dilla and people like that who drop beat tapes, so putting out a lot of the more like chill stuff to just kind of vibe to. But that's not all I do. Obviously, you know, I make like EDM stuff. I do some different bass music, some different house music. You know, I try to stay tapped into a lot of different markets so I don't limit my value. Because some people get stuck, you know, they might only do one thing, only known for one thing, and then if they try to branch out to some other aspects, some other genres, they get pigeonholed and they get stuck. But I've been known to do a lot of different things. And Double O stands for Orlando's Own.
There you go.
A lot of people
Okay.
don't know that. That's what
Okay.
that stands for. And Orlando has a lot of different things. You know, there's people from everywhere. So if I'm not catering to all these different types of people, all these different genres of music, then I'm just holding myself back, not only from making money, but from opportunity.
You're right.
So
Man.
Well, definitely, man. It's been amazing as usual. This is like another what do I use the thing, but to let the people see it, man, and to come out, man. And we appreciate having you here with
I'm
us.
glad
man.
to be here, man.
Because obviously you've been forward always, and what you're
Yes, sir.
doing, and that's our motto here: always forward, always at all times. So, man, appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me, man.
Good looking. Double O. That's my man. Hey, I can't wait to the next episode, man. Every time it just like a fart, it just rumble and it make it feel good when it come out, man.
Oh, Mark, bro, you know this man. I can't put up.
Hey, I love y'all,
Breaking the toilet,
man.
ain't talking about shit.
Hey, we talking shit, you know.
That was a great way to end everything.
I'm sorry, dog. You know I love you.
What
Hey,
I'm saying, man, it was like a good fun, like damn, where this man coming from with this, bro? Like,
Ashon hit you with the one-liners, man.
boy, it's so funny, man.
hey, man.
Listen,
Keep a son off that stuff.
he on that dope again.
Coming to the podcast. Walling. Oh my goodness.
Bro, like, what?
Woo.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, man. Hey, Brad, thanks for coming,
Yeah,
dog.
man.
Dog, I'm sorry, man.